back to another installment of Missing Links Story to Stage Speaker Showcase. That's a lot of alliteration there. That was a mouthful. I dare you to say that 5 times fast.
Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
I'm Kevin, your host, and today's featured speaker is the CEO and shareholder of Yael Geffen Sotheby's International Realty. She is also the youngest CEO of all the big property brands in South Africa and the only female leader in the top 3 national brands. Not only is she a top gun in real estate, but also has her rise as a public speaker. Going to war with inauthenticity while inspiring women to lead without having to think like a man. I've had the privilege of seeing her speaking career skyrocket as she took on TEDx and many other major speaking gigs, but being the best version of herself. So how about it? Stick with me and find out more about Yael Geffen.
My name is Yael Geffen, and I don't want to say my day job, but the vocation that houses me is actually a property business.
There's not all.
And my alter ego, my launch pad of what I really am passionate about and get inspired by is speaking. So I have a couple of ideas that I go to war with. I never realized I was such a fighter, but the I would say my trademark keynote talk is about going to war with fake. I hate fake, and the idea of the expression fake it till you make it, I'm going to war with, because I think it's rubbish. And I think that self-promotion is key, but we can do it in a way where we and others don't have to cringe.
I love it already.
I also go to war with the idea that women in leadership have to be like men. And then also resilience. I go to war with the fact that, because I'm quite a resilient person, I've been through a lot. I've lost a lot of people along the way as well. And I go to war with the fact that resilience is like that big tiger, on the poster. For me, resilience is like that fantastic fungi that grows underneath our feet and learns how to blossom in the dark. And that's the analogy that I use, that the way we're thinking about resilience is all wrong, and it's time to reimagine resilience. So those are the topics that I go to war with.
But wait, there's more.
So I also do some property related talks, obviously, as well. I forgot to include that. I was invited to be on a panel of women. Reese Witherspoon was the keynote speaker. So it felt like a really big deal for me. So that was exciting. And that panel was called What Moves Her? And it was about women in business. And I was on a stage with 3 other female real estate icons, I guess, in the Sotheby's network. And I was the only international person asked, so that was really, really thrilling. I was also one of 2 South Africans to speak at the World Leaders Summit. It was online, and that was during COVID, so that was exceptionally exciting. As I spoke to the majorettes, the Proteas, the SA Proteas majorettes, they were about to go to the World Games, and I helped hand out their blazers, and I spoke to them about success in their lives and some tips I've learned along the way, and that was really deep and meaningful for me. So yeah, those are, and the TEDx talk was quite a thing. I mean, it's your knees are shaking on stage, not because you can't talk, but because it's TEDx. So that was also exciting. It's interesting because I had it in me to be a professional speaker, and I've always been on stages ever since I was little. Doing the course for me was a wonderful time. It was during COVID, and it was a very empowering time, and I didn't know what that story was or who I was, and I had an existential meltdown during the course.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Which is so great, because you can only find out who you are once you get to that raw spot of who you aren't. Then I realized who I am, what I stand for in that course. It taught me lifelong lessons. I refer to Rich Mulholland all the time as the person that allowed me to become the best version of me. Yeah, I've got this TED Global, hey, on my it's not on my vision board. I should put it on there, but every year I write down TED Global. I want to be able to share my ideas, inspire people. I've got some books in me. I'm just too lazy. I know everyone at the 5 a.m. club. Oh my gosh, I can't. I mean, I know I should be waking up when the roosters crow and writing my book and doing all these things. And I've got to get my A into G. But yeah, that's kind of where I see that going. I'm not alone. I think we feel so isolated that we're going through our own crises of confidence, or as females in leadership, or any male, any leadership positions. It happens to all of us, and that we don't have to be fake and cover it up. We can actually use it. We can harness it in order to be the best versions of ourselves. And that's really the takeaway. And that if you learn how to do that, and the steps that I teach in order to do that, you can walk away with a greater network, greater mentors, mentees around you, and better business as a whole, and have a far more intact leadership position, whether you're an entrepreneur or someone successful or celebrity or whatever. You know who you are. You're proud of who you are, and others get to see who you are and feel the same way about you. It was the uncovering of my existential crisis, and really brought me to my knees of who I am as a human being, and do I have a story to tell, and what story is that? And I realized I have more stories. I have more than one story. So now it's difficult, because they say hone your niche and whatever, but I'm getting asked to speak on many different topics, which is fantastic. It catapults your speaking career, because you're learning all the mistakes and maybe myths that they've experienced along the way. So you don't have to go and experience that firsthand. And there's things that I'm doing naturally now in my speaking career that I know many professional speakers have taken 10, 20 years to unwind. And I like the idea of the word unwind, because like Picasso says, it takes a long time to grow young. You don't want to be taught something with all that, the wrong methodology, that at some point you have to unwind it. And I feel like this experience was so raw and personal, but yet had the professionalism and the sage-like wisdom to help me hone into something and hone into a career that I didn't realize was actually within my grasp. So I have a website. It's yaelgeffen.com, yaelgeffen.com. And so you can yael@yaelgeffen.com, contact at yaelgeffen.com, or just the easiest is LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very visible on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn, send me a message, and I'll come talk for you.
What an absolute legend! Yael, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Such an inspiration. Oh, beautiful. Now, if you think you've got a story that could inspire, or a message that could shift mindsets, the Story to Stage program is a community of up-and-coming speakers as well as established professionals, where you can define, align, and refine your talk and your speaking skills. There are so many stories out there, but yours might just be the one you're listening to. So let's make contact and make this happen. Until then, see you in the next episode of Missing Link's Story to Stage Speaker Show. Woof, one take, boom! How you like them apples?